everybody. It's Victoria here at Outdoor-Classrooms.com. I'm so thrilled that you're here and joining us. And we've been sort of coming on for tea time every day this month in September in celebration of back to school and getting our outdoor classrooms up and running. So that's been super exciting. And I've been here to answer questions that have been coming in. And we've been getting a lot of rain around here, but let me just backpedal a little bit. If you haven't met me before, my name is Victoria Hackett. I'm the founder of Outdoor-Classrooms.com, and it's an online virtual space for teachers and educators from all over the world that can, if they're interested in starting an outdoor classroom, if they're interested in sort of digging deeper and enhancing their outdoor classroom, this is the place to be. So this whole month, we've been having a tea time with Victoria at 4. And I've been kind of perusing questions that have been coming in and really trying to answer them. So with that, we've been having a ton of rain here in Massachusetts. And I'm sure across the country, folks have been getting a lot of rain in this crazy weather that we've been having. So today we're going to actually talk about shelter. And this came up because, yes, there is challenging weather, and there's many of you that are committed to being outside as often as possible and as long as possible. And that's a matter of getting kids in proper gear and so on and so forth. So, but I woke up the other day and it was thundering, really crazy thunder. And I thought just started up my, we started an in-person. It's called the Secret Gardens Nature Preschool Program, and so excited and thrilled about it. But I was thinking, lying in bed it must have been 3 o'clock in the morning, going, the 5 phases of teaching outdoors that I teach in our outdoor teaching boot camp. The first phase of the 5 phases is infrastructure. And we talk a lot about all the different things that you really need to have in your outdoor classroom to make it really work for you and with you. And one of those things is shelter. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So just so you know, we're running a live outdoor teaching boot camp, and that's going to be starting up in October. So make note of that. Very, very excited about that, but we'll talk about that at the end. And so the first phase of teaching outdoors is infrastructure. And one of those things in infrastructure that's kind of key is providing shelter. And what does that mean? And so on and so forth. So again, we had a huge rainstorm, and I was like, okay, well, what's my shelter? And I'm running this in my front yard, backyard, outdoor classroom space. So, and the very next day I woke up and kind of looked at my garage and said, and I feverishly started cleaning it up. So if anyone's watching from our Secret Gardens preschool program, I have an incredible shelter space. Not that we want to sort of spend all our time inside the shelter space. We don't want that to be the main attraction. We really want that to be kind of, and not necessarily an emergency place, but it's a good place to either, if it's really downpouring or there's really, really challenging weather that's kind of very inclement. We want our kids to be out and about and in the weather, experiencing it with the proper gear and so on and so forth. But but it's always good to have some sort of type of shelter. So in my case, we are painting the garage this weekend. So I'm really excited about that and creating not an indoor, but a shelter of that kind. So it could be a garage, it can be an awning, it can be, so really thinking about what is your shelter space going to be. I've even seen programs do kind of teepee type of thing, not teepees, but kind of tarps. So there's all different types of shelter, but just want to highlight that what they are and what the benefits of having them. So there's actually, I have 6 benefits that I want to share with you today. And the first benefit of having shelter. So if you needed to talk to your administrator, or you needed to convince your PTO for raising money for establishing and getting a shelter in your outdoor space, this is the video you want to watch. You really want to see if you can have these reasons in place so you can kind of make your argument, so to speak. So the first one is extending existing learning spaces. So it really, a shelter extends your indoor classroom outdoors. So it's sort of this, it really can be looked upon as it extends it. It really, I mean, just even the cleaning out of my garage, now I have a whole nother space to do a different variety of things in that I wouldn't necessarily be able to do outside. So it creates, just having this open space allows you to have that classroom extension. So that's number one. Number two, it provides another opportunity for a different type of hands-on learning. So if you're under, I mean, you want a lot of 90% of our work, we really want to be outside, not under the shelter, kind of out in nature. But if we needed to be, it provides a wonderful opportunity for, if there's tables, you can do some tabletop activities and so on and so forth. So that type of work is fabulous. Number three is obviously protection from the elements. So we are now in September. We're at the end of September. We're in, well, like in the middle, heading towards October. So the seasons are shifting, which is this beautiful time of year. But before we know it, we're going to be in fall, and we're going to be really looking at winter and those colder elements. So it's really important to think now in terms of, what do I need in place to kind of keep our kids outside longer. So obviously there's going to be a lot of gear involved in having kids, and all of us wearing the proper things to keep us warm. But it's also important to really think now, because we got some months to work on it. What type of shelters can we put into place so we can spend even more time outside? And even I know schools are spending some long-term time to really design and calculate an even a more permanent structure. How can that be? So I know there's a lot of schools that have tried different shelters, but they've blown away. So really, put your money in a good something solid. So that's number three, is protection from the elements, and the elements might be that there's sun. It might be sort of too hot. It provides wonderful shade, and it might be just the opposite, where it's raining out and you can go to the shelter and even be outside during the rain time. Number four, it's a great meeting point. So having an outdoor shelter is great, because it can be that you meet there, you start there, you explain whatever you're going to be doing, and then you're off, and then you don't even come back until a closing. So it can be a meeting and an end point, but not necessarily the main place where you stay the whole time. So that's really up to you and your campus and what that looks like. But it can be a waiting area, it can be a picnic area. So there's lots of different ways that you can use it, which is number five. So it can be used for numerous uses. It can be for outdoor learning. It can be for just social engagement, to really allows kids to socially engage. And it's a nice sheltered place for kids to play. So number 6 is the final one. Can you see all 6? Is that it's that ideally it can be a permanent shelter. So if your school and your program are really truly moving towards outdoor education and spending more time outdoors, to really think about your outdoor shelters. It might be more than one, and how that can give structure to your entire space, your outdoor classroom, and how that can um, be more of a permanent fixture. The other thing is that it adds additional storage. So if you wanted to keep things outside and under your shelter, it provides a wonderful storage. So those are the 6. I'm going to review them again. And again, really thinking about the seasons are changing, thinking about how can you add shelter to your outdoor classroom. And you may be lucky enough to be in the woods, and that within itself can provide the underneath of trees can provide wonderful shelter. So really we talked, I think in the other video, about the essence and the benefits of secret hiding places for children. Those can also be like mini shelters. But what we're talking about today is really, really investing in some, I don't want to say the word hardcore, but good shelter for more permanent basis. So that would be the most ideal. So the benefits is they really, number one is they extend your learning spaces. And number 2 is that it provides another incredible opportunity for hands-on learning. So you might have some tables there, tabletop activities, or you can even move the tables and do some movement activities under the shelter. Number 3 is it provides protection from the elements. It may provide some cooler classroom because it's providing shade. But it also may be a nice retreat from if it all of a sudden downpours and that type of thing. So number 4, it's a great meeting point. So great place to say, okay, we're going to the shelter. And then everybody meet there, talk about what you're going to be doing, and then off you go for your adventure, and then back again, maybe at the end. So it could be a good area for picnicking. It can be a good waiting area. It might be, and thinking about where you place your shelter. Is it near a pickup? That type of thing. So placing is also kind of important to think about. Where does your shelter work? Are you going to be sharing your shelter with other classes? Is it just your program? That type of thing. Number 5 is being able to use your shelter for numerous uses. Again, are you sharing the shelter with other classes? Are you using it so like maybe 2 classes can be in there at the same time, and you're kind of doing a pen pal type of thing or engaging? Are you having things are so restricted with COVID. So, but even when hopefully we come out of this, it could be a larger space where kids can meet and so on and so forth. So, and again, number 6, which is the dream. And again, if you dream it, it will happen. Creating it to be permanent, to really give the structure some energy and some thought. And this is where your parent community can come in and really thinking about, okay, well, if we were to create some type of permanent shelter, what would it look like? And these are the type of things that we talk about in more detail in the Outdoor Teaching Bootcamp, which we will be teaching live in starting in October. So it's going to be 5 continuous Mondays of live calls. And we will be starting that on sometime, and I haven't got the final dates yet. So, but it's what we do is we talk about each phase of teaching outdoors, and the first phase, which is infrastructure, which is actually has to do with what we talked about today, the shelter, and you get much more meatier conversation with everybody that's taking the class. And then we have getting outdoors for those folks that are in phase 2 that are just transitioning to get outdoors and transitioning yourself and your classroom and your children. You may be in phase 3, which is teaching and learning outdoors. And that is very intensive because all of us are in different phases and stages. And then we have our 4th phase, which is weather. And that's where we talk about all different types of weather and how we can really be outside 95% of the time. So that's our hope, or even 100% of the time. So, and then the final phase is sustainability and how can we create these amazing spaces and then also sustain them. So that is what's coming up. We have lots of goodies up until then, but I wanted to highlight just a few things, give you a little sneak peek. If you have any questions about the Outdoor Teaching Bootcamp, how it works, so on and so forth, please let me know. Very excited about, it's probably one of the best classes aside from the winter classes, pretty popular, that we teach here at Outdoor-Classrooms.com. So it really gives you a wonderful foundation, it helps you do an assessment of your teachers or yourself of where you are in the 5 phases of teaching outdoors. And it's, again, if you have any questions, just let me know and I would love to answer that. And what complements the Outdoor Teaching Bootcamp is a continuation of our membership. So we have the circle where we dig even deeper into, I really felt like the teaching and learning 3rd phase is so intensive and we're all looking for new ideas and seeds of inspiration that we created a membership that kind of circles around and focuses on all of it, but really highlights different activities and seeds of inspiration and stories. We do, folks really wanted to hear outdoor classroom stories from other programs. And so we have a whole mixture of that. So, and again, if you have any other questions about that, that's fantastic. So happy to answer those questions. And best of all, please join our Facebook community and our YouTube channel. And we'd love to see you in the comments. So have a wonderful day. Make that shelter. Talk to you soon. Bye.